Welcome back to the Real Estate 401k Show. I'm your host, Mike Weinstein, alongside Justin Frederick and Ryan Gerdes. It is Friday, and these are my most favorite episodes. This is our opportunity to share the stories of our listeners and our viewers that text in, and really want to leverage our knowledge and our insight and our strategies to build wealth in real estate, because that is what we do. And if you want to be part of our story, all you got to do is text the word story to 623-AZ-RECON. That's story to 623-AZ-RECON, or just type the word story in the comments section. Justin, I think you're up first this time. What say you?
So I had a client that I've done a few loans for. I think I started working with him in probably 18, and came to me. He had started working with an agent. His agent took him to another lender. He was denied. And he came back to me, and he was just trying to look at consolidating debt. And so he was wanting a home equity line of credit. But his tax returns, he's self-employed, tax returns weren't working out, which is a story, pretty common story that I have. But I have a home equity line of credit now that goes off of bank statements for self-employed individuals.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it comes at a cost. So rate was in the double digits, but he was able to accomplish what he was looking at. But before he pulled out the money, he was like, okay, so what I heard you say was my tax returns didn't show income. And I said, yeah. And he said, am I going to even be able to buy a house if I consolidate all of my debt? And I said, well, not on a traditional loan, but I can get it done on a bank statement loan. So he's like, I need to talk to my wife. I'll get back to you. The rate was a little high on the home equity line of credit. I'm like, that's fine. Get back to me. He called the other lender in the meantime. He was trying to do a bank statement loan over there just because his agent, they had a relationship, right? He couldn't do the loan. So he came back to me and he's like, okay, so I'm going to take out the home equity line of credit to get funds out of my house so I can buy another house, not to consolidate debt. I was like, You're
Great.
fine. Yeah, that's fine. And he's like, you can do all this? I was like, not only can I do it, I can just close them a couple days apart. And that way you're not paying interest on this while you're waiting to find a house. And so that's my story. He's actually, we got him all set up and approved for the home equity line of credit at $130,000. And then we got him set up we got him TBD approved to be determined on a bank statement loan to buy another house. So pretty cool. And he super excited, was just grateful. And it's
cool.
so nice to have the products that we have. So that's my story.
Nice. Well, normally I like to talk about, like big obstacles that have been overcome and whatnot, but my story is just more based off of gratitude because we have some really awesome referral partners. And one of my buddies, he works for a very prominent home builder in the Valley, and he was having one of his homes inspected by the city. And the city inspector came over there and he's like, man, every single time I'm over here, you guys are doing just such a bang up job. I mean, I've known the super over here for this builder since like high school years. I mean, decades I've known this guy. We're good buddies. And he said, you guys are doing such a bang up job. Every single time I come over, there's hardly any red lines. You guys are always ready for me. Job site's clean. Everything that I was walking to, like you guys always exceed expectations. I'm thinking about possibly buying one, and how would I go about doing that? And so he introduced him to me, and so we've been talking here for a little bit, and then just the other day he calls me up and he says, all right, I just went and did an inspection on a slab inspection on this one that this builder's doing. Ryan walked me through it. So we walked over to the home builder yesterday, and and put together a pretty badass contract on it, and we were able to negotiate a handful of things. There's still a couple of things we need to get ironed out, but it was pretty cool that, you know, there's really good people out there doing really good business and doing really good work, and I'm proud to just be into that fold with them and getting that referral and I learned. I've been learning a lot of stuff from him.
Sure.
He's not, and don't get me wrong, HCP, fantastic inspection, but when you go over to the city side, you get, there's a different type of inspection, you know, and so there's a lot more technical stuff that he's just, you know, schooling me on, and so it's always cool to, you know, learn that kind of learn that part of the field, and because there's not a whole lot of them out there, and the ones that are out there, I found they're so egotistical. There's a lot of just, you know, holier than thou type of people, and this guy is just not that, and so he's been an open book, and I'm proud to call him a client, and I'm excited to see him get into his first spot.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so mine's a follow-up. So this will be the last time we'll talk about the situation. But a couple weeks ago, we talked about a mutual client. Justin did the loan. VA, young kid. I looked it up. 30 years old. Served our country. Been renting since he got out of the military. And we got him into a home. We negotiated. He basically walked into about $20,000, no, $30,000 worth of equity in all his closing costs paid. But the best part of the story was earlier this week we scheduled the final walkthrough just to make sure that everything was in order and nothing changed with the property. And dude, he just couldn't be any more excited. He's never owned a home in his life. We got him a 3-bedroom home out in Litchfield Park, and then today Ryan and I got the news that it recorded, and cool. Ryan and I got to pick up the phone and call him and say, "Hey man, congratulations, you
Pretty
are
a
home owner." So, dude, it never gets old. I don't, as much as we love money and as much as we love working with investors and navigating and helping people build wealth, there's just something about somebody buying a home for the very first time. Like, we were all first-time home buyers at some point, and just the pride and the satisfaction that brings is, I don't know, second to none for me.
Agreed.
Well, if you want to be part of our story and you would like help in building wealth in real estate and achieving real estate success, all you got to do is text the word STORY to 623-AZ-RECON. That's STORY to 623-AZ-RECON, or you can simply type the word STORY in the comment section. All right, Ryan, it is Friday. You are up, my man.
So I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball to this situation, because, you know, we've covered a lot of favorites and bests and this and that in Arizona. But I was over here thinking, all three of us, we love to cook. And so what I was thinking of was barbecue.
Okay.
And what's your favorite thing to barbecue, and what do you do that makes how you do it unique, and if there's any tips or tricks that you think makes it that much better. So, Justin.
I didn't know you were going to put in what's my favorite thing to barbecue, because that's hard for me. I really like I like to smoke a brisket. I really like to cook chicken thighs. It's a super easy process, but I really love some smoked chicken thighs. I like tri-tips and ribs, but I'm gonna go with my brisket, just because
Okay.
I love my brisket.
I'll do brisket too, and you do brisket. Well, I'll talk about how we do briskets.
Okay.
Have you ever cooked a brisket?
Once.
So I feel like I trim up my brisket really well.
How do you trim it?
I like to keep a little bit of fat on there, but I definitely keep the sides all nice and lean. I want to see the point nice and flat. But yeah, I take out the pocket of fat in there, and I really season the heck out of that spot. And it's probably one of my favorite spots to eat too. But I like to have my brisket thawed, and I like to inject my brisket with au jus. I like to season my brisket at least 15 hours in advance. And I feel like the longer I have it seasoned, the better off it is. So I use this rub called gosh, I can't even think of it. It's Voodoo. It's Voodoo.
Voodoo,
Yeah. By Meat Church. And then I also use another Rectech specific. It's called Heifer Dust.
Was that what you use a Rectech?
Yeah, Rectech.
Cool.
I use a heifer dust on it, but I let that sit. I think and I put it back in the refrigerator. And take it out in the morning, get it to room temperature before I take it outside, and it's been injected all night as well. And I inject it quite a bit. Put it on the smoker. Gosh, I want to say I have the smoker at 225, and I try to get it up to about 165, 170, and I leave it alone until I get to that point. Then I bring it back in. I inject it again. I wrap it in foil. I double wrap it in foil, nice and tight, and I put it back in the smoker, same temperature. And I want to get that bad boy up to about 203, 204. My family absolutely loves it. I got a good.
So you wrap it in foil and then put it back on the smoker?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't use butcher paper? You use foil?
I use foil.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I get a nice crust on the outside. Inside is just really tender. Love it. And I want the biggest brisket that I can get to just so I can have it for days.
Yeah, for sure.
Sandwiches, breakfast with brisket and eggs. I'll eat it for dinner for 4 days in a row.
Hell yeah. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. Well, for me, I've actually done a couple briskets myself, and so every time that I'm trying something new, I'm either texting or calling Justin or Nick. So what Justin said, ditto. I'm finding myself of just kind of staying away from the rubs that you get in the store and so forth. I've kind of just got my seasonings that I like, and depending on what I'm cooking, I'm just kind of creating my own rubs and so forth. And the only thing that I would add to what you're doing is I'm when I take it off the smoker, I'm jacking up my grill and I'm gonna throw it on the grill for about 30 to 45 seconds each side just to get that reverse sear and get that good bark.
Yeah, nice. So I do a lot of those things. Well, so what I just discovered making pastrami. And
Yeah, you were talking about
dude,
that.
It is ridiculous. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but it's better than any pastrami I've had at any like well-known smokehouse or whatever. And a couple of things is I do always cut my brisket in half. I always keep the flat because you're gonna get two different temperatures.
100%.
And so the thick one's going to stay, a little bit longer than the flat because otherwise one of them gets overcooked or undercooked depending on, I found that it's easier to get more consistency about what you're trying to get out of it. With a pastrami, though, I do cut off a lot more fat than I would if I was just to make a regular smoked brisket. The other thing for me is I don't like too much smoke. Like, I love to have the smoke on it, but I'm usually doing about 70% of the cook time in the oven, and then I finish it on the smoke because I want it there, but I don't want it to taste like an ashtray. I don't want too much. And that's just personal preference. And so with pastrami's, it's all about the brine. Mm-hmm. And so I do use a lower content curing salt, which some people will put in more, and they want to kind of get it going faster, and they kind of want a little bit more pungent. But for me, I love getting just that full flavor of a good cut of meat because I do get high quality meat. I'm not trying to mask it with anything. And I do watch the salt content on it because I feel like if you put a good amount of salt in it when you first eat it, it's awesome. But if you eat it the next day, it just tastes like a salt lick.
Agree.
So I'm always putting a lower content of salt on it, and you can always add other sauces or whatever that you want later if you enjoy having more salt. So I try to keep that at a minimum. And for pastrami's, they want 10 to 12 days for it to brine. I'm minimum 14. Like maybe even 18. Like just get it really in there, and so
Wow.
And then what I also do, which my dog loves, is all the trimmings from all the fat. I just throw it in a big stock pot and I put it on medium-low heat and just let all that fat render, and then make a good beef tallow out of it. And so what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use that tallow to do the bark on it when it's all said and done, to throw it on the grill, just so it has a little bit, have some of that fat render through it without having the extra stuff. And then basically they're beef rinds that's left over. The dog just goes to town on those.
Oh,
things.
I'm sure.
So, anyhow, that's a
Well,
couple of
got me hungry now.
We want to
Yeah.
come over and try it next
Yes.
Yeah, well, it'll be
time. And we don't want it the next day.
It'll be right after the DC trip.
All right.
So
Well, and this Friday, Mom's Club dinner.
Yeah.
Looking forward
that's
to it.
right. Oh, coochie. You're up.
All right. Well, if you'd like some more information about barbecuing, like some of our tips and tricks, but more importantly, if you want to be part of our story and where we help our listeners and our viewers build wealth in real estate, we'd love to help you. All you got to do is text the word story to 623-AZ-RECON. That's story to 623-AZ-RECON, or just type story in the comment section.